Hello there. Thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time here, my name is Unwana Udoh, and every week I share content that can help you master your personal finance and grow your wealth. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the 4 mistakes that can prevent you from, increasing your net worth. Now, how do you calculate your net worth? So basically, your net worth is calculated based on you take your total assets, you subtract all your liabilities, and whatever is left is your net worth. So for most people, we all chase income, even though income is important, but the very wealthy always look to increase their net worth. So you have to learn to increase your net worth if you want to be wealthy and if you want to be, rich. Okay. Now, I'm not claiming that I am wealthy. Like I said, I am a student of, wealth accumulation. So everything that I share on my videos are things that I'm implementing right now to increase my net worth, to make myself more savvy when it comes to handling money, and which is why I'm sharing this video with you. Now, the first thing that that can prevent you from increasing your net worth is not having an emergency fund. Now, we know life happens to all of us. Things happen, car breaks down, appliances break down at your home, kids are sick, emergencies happen. Emergencies are part of life. So you have to make sure that you have an emergency fund. Even if you have $500 or even $1,000 or $2,000 tucked away somewhere in an account that you don't touch except for emergencies. Like I said, cars break down, appliances break down, things happen, and if you don't have an emergency fund, then you're more susceptible to life's events. So which means you might have to tap into other resources, which affects your net worth. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have an emergency fund, because if you don't have an emergency fund, then like I said, you're subject to life, okay? Because life happens to everyone. I don't care who you are, but things happen in life, okay? The second thing that affects you from increasing your net worth is keeping up with the Joneses or trying to compete with your friends and family, all right? Unfortunately, for most of us, we live in a society where social media is in our face all day. We have photographs and feeds from our friends and family, coming up on our social media, platforms like Facebook or Instagram. And we keep seeing, pictures of our friends having a good time, buying a new car or going on exotic vacations and things like that. So naturally, you feel left out and you feel you have to do the same thing. So you want to keep up with everybody, and you start going into debt just to keep up with everyone, buying things that you shouldn't be buying, and taking trips that you shouldn't take, and doing things that you shouldn't be doing with your money. Now, when you try to keep up with the Joneses, you're setting yourself up for failure, okay? So, and that's one thing that can prevent you from building or increasing your net worth, okay? So at the end of the day, it all comes down to increasing your net worth, okay? That's why you have like the Forbes 400 richest people. They always talk about the net worth. They don't talk about their income. They talk about their net worth. So you have to think differently. You have to think about your net worth, not just income, all right? Number 3 is buying depreciating assets. And a prime example is cars. We all want to drive nice cars, new cars, flashy cars, because we want to impress people. We want to impress our friends, our family, our co-workers. We want to portray an image that we're successful, we're doing great. And most of us get into trouble by, financing vehicles. Now, when you acquire a depreciating asset, unless that asset is generating income for you, then it's a depreciating asset, okay? So I hate to use the term depreciating asset because an asset should be something of value to you. But normally speaking, generally, that's the term that's used, depreciating asset. So we'll stick to that. But for me, a car is a depreciating asset. Unless you have it earning income for you, then to some extent it's not a depreciating asset because you're getting the the tax benefits from using the vehicle to generate income. So when you spend your money on depreciating assets, like you go shopping, you see a nice shirt and you buy the shirt, you see a nice shoe, you want to buy the shoe, you see a handbag or cosmetics or stuff like that, those are depreciating assets because they're not going to increase your net worth. They're just stuff that you use. Maybe it makes you feel great, maybe it makes you feel beautiful, or you feel handsome, whatever. Okay, it does not increase your net worth. So you want to make sure that you limit purchasing depreciating assets. What the wealthy people do is they create multiple streams of income, and then they use that income to fund their lifestyle. So someone who's wealthy already has a system in place for generating income, generating wealth, and then whatever cash flow comes out of that, then they use that to buy their depreciating asset. Okay, like a Rolls Royce, a Bentley, a Mercedes, a BMW. Okay, but if you have a job and you're trying to acquire these things, then you're doing things wrong. Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong in driving a BMW or a Mercedes or a Bentley, but if you have a paycheck, if you're living off of a paycheck, then it's the wrong use of your money. Okay, unless you're maybe like the CEO of a company or a top executive and you're making a lot of money, then fine, go ahead, knock yourself out, get whatever vehicle you want, but limit spending money on depreciating assets. And then the final one that I have that most people get into trouble with is buying too much house than you can afford. Okay, so what normally happens is when people get qualified for a home loan or a mortgage, they submit all their income documents and everything to a loan broker who runs the number, crunches the number, and then they tell you, well, based on the data that you've given us, you qualify for, I'm going to use an example, for a $300,000 house. Now, because you qualified for a $300,000 house does not mean that you have to accept a loan for a $300,000 house. Maybe you should accept a loan for a $200,000 house instead of a $300,000 house. Because what happens is when you accept a loan for $300,000, don't forget your payments will be higher, your insurance will be higher, your property taxes will be higher, your upkeep will be higher because you have a bigger house, a bigger mortgage, so everything is bigger. So now if you are earning a paycheck and your mortgage is calculated based off of your paycheck, now then you find yourself in a situation where every single month you're struggling to make your house payments. Okay, that's not how to live. Okay, most people are house rich and cash poor. Okay, they are house rich and cash poor. You have all your equity tied up in a house. Okay, the only way you can have access to that equity is either you take on a home equity loan or home equity line of credit, okay, or you liquidate the asset and then you can pull your equity out. Okay, so make sure you don't fall into that trap of buying too much of a house than you can afford. Okay, because owning a home is great, but there are expenses that come with owning a home. Like I said, you have your principal payments, your interest payments, you have your insurance payments, you have your taxes, you have your upkeep, and other things that might happen to the property. So buying a house is great, but make sure you don't over leverage yourself, okay, and get yourself in trouble. So those are the 4 things. I mean, there are more things that can prevent you from increasing your net worth, but I figured these are simple things that anyone can implement and can grasp, okay, to prevent you from falling into that trap. Okay, so I'm going to list it again. So number 1, make sure you have an emergency fund. Number 2, don't try to compete with your friends and family. Okay, nobody cares what you drive, nobody cares what you wear. Okay, I mean, if it makes you feel good, go ahead and do it, but please don't try to compete with the Joneses. Number 3, don't buy depreciating assets. If you buy a depreciated asset, make sure it's generating income for you. So for instance, I have vehicles that are earning income for me because I have them on a platform where I can rent out my vehicles to people, and those cars make income for me. Okay, yes, it's a small amount of income, but guess what? The cars are an asset for me now because they're making money for me. And then number 4, make sure you buy the right size home for yourself and your family. Yes, it's great to have a home, but remember there are other expenses that come with owning a home. So I hope you found value in this video. So the key is, if you want to build wealth, you have to increase your net worth. Okay, so like I said, the wealthy don't go by income, they go by net worth. So you need to change the way you think. Don't just look at, earning more income, but think of what you can do with that income to increase your net worth. Okay, so thank you again for joining me today. And as usual, if you like my videos, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell to all, so that way YouTube will notify you of any new videos I have coming on. So thank you again for being here. I appreciate you all. And as usual, make sure you're true to yourself, you're true to your goals, and you never ever ever give up, because there is more on the other side. Okay, stay tuned for the next video coming up, and I'll catch you there. Take care. Bye bye.